But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40:31. This verse speaks to the strength and resilience that comes from placing faith and trust in God, which ties in beautifully with my message of perseverance and making the decision to prioritize your health even when you're faced with challenges like menopause. Hey, revolutionaries. Today, I'm going to get personal with you. I've shared a lot of fitness tips, challenges, and motivation with you over the years. But today, I'm going to talk about something that has been really close to my heart lately, my journey into menopause. I've hit 50, and for a long time, I honestly didn't think I was going to have to deal with it. As funny as that sounds, because my friends started going through it years ago. And I was thinking, when is it going to hit me? And for a while, it just didn't. It was like I was waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. Not that I was pressed, but I did feel like I was avoiding it, almost like I won the lottery. And I skipped this whole phase of life. But as you can imagine, that's not how it works. Menopause came for me eventually. And when it did, it was real. But the thing is, it didn't all come at once. It started with small changes, things I could barely notice at first. I'd look at my body and I knew something was shifting and different, but it wasn't dramatic. However, little by little, those changes added up, and eventually it did hit me. Let me tell you, it was strange being the one who hadn't yet started. And when everyone around me, it just seemed like they were so deep into it. I would be sitting with my friends and they'd be fanning themselves like crazy, talking about how they couldn't sleep and how they'd wake up drenched in sweat in the middle of the night. And there I was, still waiting for something to happen. I felt like I was on the outside, looking in, wondering when it was going to be my turn, if it was going to be my turn. I remember one evening I was at a dinner with some friends and it was wintertime. I had on my warm coat, my scarf, and I was all bundled up. And one of my friends suddenly started fanning herself with her hands, just like this, trying to cool down. She looks at me and says, "I can't take this anymore. I need some air." And she walked outside into the freezing cold just to cool off. And there I was sitting there with my hot tea, perfectly fine. And I was thinking, am I missing something? It was like I felt guilty for not going through it yet, especially being around them. I mean, everyone around me was dealing with these symptoms, and there I was still waiting. And that went on for a long time. It felt like I was on borrowed time, like menopause was circling around me, but hadn't landed yet. And when it finally did, it wasn't slow. It hit me suddenly. I was at home, I was relaxing, and just out of nowhere, it felt like my body was on fire. I remember thinking, oh, so this is what they've been talking about. It was like a switch flipped. And from that moment on, I knew my body was changing. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy to accept. When those first hot flashes came, I tried to ignore them at first. I was like, okay, maybe this is just temporary and maybe it won't be so bad. But the truth is, menopause is real and it doesn't go away just because you want it to. It was tough for me because I've always been someone who stays active, eats well, takes care of my body, and now my body was doing its own thing. It felt like I was losing control, and that was truly hard to accept. So there was this one day in particular that stands out to me. I was in the middle of a workout and I was feeling strong and I was pushing through. And then out of nowhere, a hot flash. Ooh, it came, buddy, did it come. And I'm talking about full body heat, like someone turned the temperature up to 100,000 degrees in me. I wanted to stop right there. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't finish this workout like this. But then I remembered something. I had a choice. I could let this stop me or I could push through. I took a deep breath. I drank some water and I kept going. And that moment taught me something important. Menopause is part of the journey, not the end of it. And if I can be honest with you, it wasn't always easy. There were mornings when I woke up and I just didn't feel like myself. My energy was low. I hadn't slept well because of those night sweats, and my mood was all over the place. And in those moments, it would have been so easy to say, not today, Satan. It would have been so easy to let menopause take over. But I had to remind myself why I do what I do. Excuse me. I knew how I wanted to feel. I knew that staying consistent with my health and my fitness was the key to keeping my body and my mind in check. And so, even on those hard days, I made the decision to show up for myself. So, there was another time I was getting ready to go to a big event, and I have been looking forward to it for weeks. But that morning, I woke up feeling off. You know that feeling when you wake up and nothing feels right? My body felt heavy, my energy was low, and I had a headache that would not go away. And I said to myself, I probably should cancel. Maybe I should just stay my butt home today. But then I remembered how I feel if I gave in. I knew that if I stayed home, I'd regret it later. So I got my butt up and I moved my body a little. And I told myself, girl, you doing this. You going. And by the time I got to the event, I felt great. Sometimes it's just about making that first step, even when it's hard. Because the truth about menopause is it's going to happen to all of us at some point, and we don't get to choose when or how it happens, but we do get to choose how we respond to it. And for me, I had to make a decision early on that no matter what change my body was going through, I was going to stay committed to my health. I knew that if I stayed consistent with my fitness and my nutrition and my mindset, I could navigate this phase of my life in a way that empowered me instead of bringing me down. There's something powerful about looking in the mirror and just accepting what you see. Because let's be honest, it's not always easy. Our bodies change, and it could be hard to accept that. But what I want to tell you is this. Even though you can't control what's happening on the outside, you can control what's happening on the inside. You have the power to make choices that will support your health and your well-being. I talk to so many women who feel defeated by menopause. They say, Coach Angie, I feel like I'm not myself anymore. I've gained weight. I can't sleep. I don't have the energy I used to have. And you know I get it. Menopause is hard. But what I always remind them is this. It's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to take control of your health. You can still feel strong, vibrant, and confident, even if you're in the middle of menopause. But it starts with a decision, y'all. It starts with looking at yourself and saying, I deserve to feel good. I deserve to prioritize my health. And once you make that decision, everything else becomes possible. I had a conversation with a woman not too long ago, and she told me that she had completely given up on working out once menopause started. So she was saying she felt like her body wasn't hers anymore, and she didn't have the energy or the motivation to stay active. But after we talked, I encouraged her to start small. I told her, you don't have to do it all at once. Just take one step. And that's exactly what she did. She started with short walks. Then she added in some strength training. And before she knew it, she was back doing her thing. A few weeks later, she told me she felt like a whole new person. And that's what I want for all of you. It's never too late to make a change. So here's what I want you to take away from my story and the stories of others. Menopause doesn't have to define you. Yes, it will bring challenges. Yes, it will test you. But it's also an opportunity to step up and take control of your health in a new way. It's a time for you to say, I'm still here. I'm still strong. I'm still going to show up for me. What kept me going and what continues to keep me going is my decision to stay consistent. I know how I want to feel, how I want to look. I know how I want to live my life. And even when it's hard, even when the symptoms hit, I remind myself that I have the power to make choices that support my health and well-being. And I want that for you too. So let's make a commitment right here and right now. Let's commit to showing up for you. I would love to hear all about your menopause journey and experiences. So please share in the comments and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. Remember to be kind to everyone, be kind to yourself, and always be unapologetically you.